Hey everybody, this is a real quick check-in. We're past week 1. Thank you for your introductions, and also thanks for working on your discussions. I promise that I read every single post, and I do try to comment on all of them, especially at the beginning. So I appreciate your hard work and your thoughtfulness. Okay, I just wanted to go over a couple things with you. Let's see here. I know sometimes talking about theory and I will say frameworks and conceptual models and philosophical approaches. I'm lumping those all together. Sometimes that may be a little monotonous. I love it. That builds our foundation for what it is we are doing. So just remember the primary practice or the primary purpose of theory in the above said words is that this improves our practice. It positively influences the health of our patients, their quality of life, and their outcomes. So theory is the why, the how, and the what we do. And it really does, it serves as a framework for research. I think what's important to remember when you're talking about research, theory, conceptual models, etc., and then practice, we have a cyclical and a reciprocal relationship, and they all have to intertwine with each other to do the best by the patients and by our profession. So yes, we are talking about that right off the bat. Okay, let me go right here. So do DNPs practice informatics at this level of this course? This is a high-level course, and yes, nurses practice informatics every single day. And as leaders, whether you are an APRN or you are in a leadership position, you practice this. And maybe the biggest thing is that you are now applying words to the actions you've always done. The other thing about informatics, and I think you know this by now, it is a core competency of the AACN Essentials. I think it's AACN Essential 4 specifically for you. It's also a competency of the CUSIN initiative, and it is an ANA competency as well. So informatics, I think what's really important, well, there's several things that are important. It is directly aligned with the Patient Safety and Quality Initiative. Well, that's what we do every single day, again, in industry. Informatics is a tool for delivering care, and it can also be, and it is also an analytics tool to answer questions about the data that we gather in. So when we talk about health information technology, that's what we're talking about. Yes, technology is huge, but remember that informatics is also about that data management and processes, and we'll get more into that later. I think what's really important is if you want to drive your own profession, that's profession, not professional, you have to be ready to play with the players out there. You have to be able to talk this language. You have to know what informatics is and how that impacts your profession and your own practice. So think about this as you go through this class. And I think there's a lot of things that are important, but consider what the main function of the nurse is. We are knowledge workers. We spend the majority of our time gathering data, synthesizing it into information, creating knowledge, okay? And then we'll move on to the wisdom here in a minute. But that is what we are. We are knowledge workers, okay? So let me skip over. I just want to bring up this one article because I think it's such a great article with Matney. Let me find it here. Philosophical approaches to the DIKW framework. All these guys are I don't know about Philip Brewster, but all these guys are out of the University of Utah. And let me tell you, Matney is world renowned with what she does with informatics, not only nursing informatics, but medical and clinical informatics as well. This woman has done incredible work. I love these first two comments in this article. Where is the wisdom we have lost in knowledge, and where is the knowledge we have lost in information? Just something to think about as we go through this. Okay, and then I have to bring up this. So when she starts off, Matney, they're talking about Graves and her partner, how they came up with a seminal article. I think it was, I can't remember, the late 80s or something about the definition for informatics. Graves was this is what makes me laugh. She was my advanced med search faculty or instructor when I was in my bachelor's program at Montana State University. And she didn't like it very much, but obviously she went on and she found her niche and she has done great things. But she was a teeny little redhead. She was quite a firecracker, but I just laugh. It's a small world. Okay, so side note, I'm not going to really go through the data aspect of this article or the information, but I do want to highlight knowledge because I think, these things, they overlap a little, and sometimes it's hard to really break them down. But I think what Matney says right here is knowledge is the information that has been synthesized so that relationships are identified and formalized. I think that's very important. I think it helps understand this concept. But knowledge does answer the questions that begin with how. How did this happen? Why did this happen? Etc. And I do like the examples that Matney provides as she goes through the article. Okay, and then when we look at wisdom, because it's hard to differentiate some of these two or distinguish these two concepts, I think wisdom, as defined by ANA, is the appropriate use of knowledge to manage and solve human problems. And yeah, that was built upon, further looked into it, Benner looked into it, but Matney's done a lot of work in this area. And that's true. I like this comment right here by Matney. Although the progression of knowledge to wisdom is not as straightforward as the path among other concepts, wisdom builds on and uses knowledge. And right here, the difference between knowledge and wisdom is like the difference between memorizing and understanding. It's that process of internalization. And remember what internalization is that it is the integration of attitudes, of people's opinions, people's perspectives, their values, their standards, and we integrate it into ourself, and we really, it just becomes a part of us as well. So that's that process of internalization that is a little bit different, that differentiates wisdom from knowledge. So anyways, I just wanted to mention that. To go back to the informatics as we go through this course, and I want you to think about how this applies to you, and we'll get to where you can actually apply it, informatics, and use those words. But we will be looking at point of care technologies. Your text, I think you have a great text. You'll be looking at data management and what that means, which is really important when you're talking about systems level changes and initiatives and things like that. We'll be talking about the patient safety and quality and population health and how informatics ties into that, as well as new and emerging technologies. And your book even talks about the genomics in health information technology, which I think is extremely interesting. And really, and also I think big data and advanced analytics is very important as well, and social media. So those are some of the things we're going to be talking about with all this. All right, if you have any questions, make sure you just get a hold of me. Thanks.